Well, okay, buddy.
Everybody wants to be something they're not and have shit they ain't got. Don't be a dick. Don't be an asshole. Just be nice. You don't have to be that guy. Show some respect. Just be a person. Love one.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Brain Snacks. What's up, Jack?
What's up, Max?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. You're not really Max. You're called Max. You're much more beautiful than that.
Thank you. So, during the last taping, we did what we always do. We started going a little bit more off topic of the conversation we were having.
Which is always the best.
Again, no, the tangent was great.
They're always the best.
But the tangent was so good, in fact, that I thought we needed to actually talk more about it in its own dedicated episode.
Yes.
What, why are you covering your mouth?
I'm touching my face.
Why?
I don't know. Why are you? What's up? Let's move.
No,
It's time to move.
You're framed just so. I want it. No, I want it. I want
You
to
want
look
what? What do you want?
to want me.
Didn't I see you crying? Oh,
No.
Sound like Billy Corgan. No.
Like he always sounds like you got to take a shit, right? Poor Smashing Pumpkins. Oh, Billy Corgan's gonna poop. A great artist, man, but
There's a fartist.
somebody get that man some X-Lax.
Oh God, so smooth.
Smooth, like butter. So, okay.
All right, here's some more information that you don't need, but you can listen to it if you want.
No. This is just you started talking about substances and drugs. Both legal and potentially ill. The illest.
The illest, the realest, man.
The illegal. But
drugs. What is it good for?
Absolutely
something.
Absolutely
it's good for something.
something.
That's what we're here to talk about.
Well, we could talk, like at some point we may bring up the war on drugs. But
The band
I wanna
or the
no,
Okay,
no,
not the
like
band.
the actual war on drugs.
okay.
The CIA government conspiracy to fund all the black ops.
The black cops.
Black ops.
Okay,
Black
sorry.
operations.
Sorry.
The ones
See-
that aren't in the ledger.
That was an example of misinterpretation of information. Information coming in from my ear hole to my brain holes made me think something that wasn't even there.
Perception.
Do we need to do anything about it? No.
No. But no, you started talking about how people in general, and I related to this real hard because I went through this. People, when they have a feeling of, or they're feeling, they have an emotion, or they're dealing with things that they don't want to deal with, they want to cover it with something. And that's what certain substances have a really in the mind of, I'm gonna say addict, because I was. I guess I still, you never stop being an addict, really?
No, you don't. You can, but you really, you can.
Well, let's say, okay, as an addict, for me, it was alcohol being the biggest of my addictions, aside from maybe work, because I'm a workaholic. But I was an alcoholic for, I guess, again, still technically would be an alcoholic, even though I haven't had a drop in 6 years. 6 years sober.
Congrats, bro.
Boom. Again, by choice. It wasn't court ordered. although it probably should have been a couple times. Never gotten any serious trouble for it. Never hurt anybody physically. May have hurt a couple of people emotionally. I know I hurt myself emotionally. But the substance, I used the substance and abused the substance to numb my feelings, and whether it was pain, rejection, or to enhance my emotions of happiness, feeling content, or satisfied. And you were talking a lot about how people were using whatever substance it was, whether it was it always, they call them mind altering substances for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So give me a little bit more riffing on what your perception of why people were doing that. Because what you were saying, I thought was so insightful, especially, and again, I try to remember that I should not base intelligence or thought process or opinion based on age. But because, again, there is such an age difference between us, I still don't feel like it's that big of a difference.
No.
But 15 years. 15 years.
Well, it's a big difference, but we have to recognize that we're the same thing. So, yeah, we're going to come to some similar understandings.
Yeah.
And I think that my position on, it's not even really a position, it's more just like an acknowledgement or noticing of some of the unnoticed positives of drugs. And not positive like, yay, hooray, but what they do for people. What they do to keep people alive to an extent that won't face their inner whatever.
Yeah.
And I think we have to view that more from a compassionate perspective, which is kind of where I was leaning.
Yeah.
Is to not only, like no drugs are bad.
Yeah.
Basically. But to dehumanize people who use drugs and pretend that those people aren't reaching for something with those drugs is like a big oversight.
Yeah.
And we have to acknowledge that those people are reaching for something. And it's not that we need to like be so involved to criminalize and it's like rushing to a judgment,
criminalize and demonize.
What I'm saying is it's a really complex issue, and I don't think we give it enough time, case by case, to really sit down with these beings and figure out what it is, that's going on.
Yeah, what it is that made them start down that path.
Well, not even that, because that would be more focusing on the problem, and rather than focusing on. I guess you could trace it back that way, and you have to. Yeah, you have to. I don't know what I'm even saying because you have to trace it back to childhood. Yeah, it starts at childhood.
Well, yeah, I guess I could say it did for me. For me it was about, again, it was. You hear the term self-medication sometimes, but not. I feel like they don't say that often enough in regards to. Addiction and addiction to whatever substance it is, controlled substance, whatever. Drugs, alcohol, which is a drug because it's a mind-altering substance. Now it comes in a plethora of forms now. Yeah. You got your dude bros with your IPAs, and you've got your people that are drinking vodka and whiskey, and I was indiscriminate with my use of that. And I keep going back to why I started in the first place, and I did it to, I guess, to try to fit in, but also I was really unhappy at the time. I was living with my father, and I ended up, I guess I was 14, 15 years old, maybe. I got my first bottle of MD 2020.
The little flask?
Little bitty pint. Yeah. I thought I was like the coolest kid on the planet, and I was just like, you know what, man? I want to see what this feels like. And
But then it did something for you, right?
I stopped.
Which is like,
For
which
the
is
time,
the reason
for the time
that
being,
it
and
sustains.
any time since then, when I was imbibing in the alcohol, it was about feeling something other than what I was feeling before. Now, whether it was feeling less or more of something, that depended on the day and maybe depended on the alcohol. And I don't know if there's a chemical, because I know certain people have different responses to dark liquor versus clear liquor.
Right.
Some people get angry on Hennessy. Some people are completely happy on tequila.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why, but for me, it was always a matter of I would drink because I wasn't happy about something.
Right.
Whether I knew it on a conscious level or not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Injecting consciousness into these issues.
Yes.
You know, these perceived problems.
And I think addiction, again, for me, the way that I got over it, and I'm not saying this will work for everyone, but the way that I got over it was understanding that the direction that my life was headed when I actually woke up, so, you know, hungover, but I woke up sober the day after, you know, getting blacked out drunk.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up the next day, wife sends me a video, and I see myself, but I don't remember it, don't recognize it. Again, looked like a clone. And I just went, you know, this is not the person that I am. So at a certain point during, you know, at the end of my battle with alcoholism, the end point was literally me seeing the result. Seeing the result of my massive amount of consumption of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like...
It made you quit cold turkey, pretty much?
Yeah. Yeah. The day that Chrissy sent me that video was the day I stopped drinking.
That's awesome.
And it's that there's something to be said for willpower, but everyone in some way, shape, or form is an addict. They just don't. It may not be drugs.
No,
it may
yeah.
not be alcohol. I think I'm sure my wife would agree with this sentiment, is that I swapped one addiction for another. So when I stopped drinking alcohol, I didn't switch drugs. Now I am prescribed Adderall, but I am on a very low dose. For those of you that know, Adderall is a sort of stimulant. Well, I think it is actually categorized as stimulant. Schedule I substance. I have 20 milligrams that I usually split. So I'll take 10 milligrams a day, and it's enough to focus my mind on, at least half-ass focus my mind on whatever task I'm trying to take care of that day.
Yeah.
But I don't abuse that substance. Again, I use that as a tool to feed my other addiction, which my other addiction, again, I think my wife would agree, would be work. So
Staying busy.
yes,
Yeah.
when I quit working, when I quit drinking, that was when I just threw myself into the band stuff. And then after the band stuff, I didn't have so much control. Once I joined the Pygmies, and like the aspect of planning the show, planning the set list, or, you know, programming the light show, then I had to find something else to feed that addiction.
Yeah, you're grabbing for
Yeah.
something, yeah.
So I needed something to keep me busy, keep me occupied, rather than just, you know, sitting in front of the TV. So what I started doing graphic design. I did all the graphic design for the Pygmy merchandise, and then I started printing all the merchandise. And then after the printing of the merchandise, I just got burnt out on that. So then I started playing guitar, so my wife and I could start playing music together again.
Mm-hmm.
And then now the latest, I guess, in the latest creation or latest outlet for my workaholism would be the Brain Snacks podcast.
Yeah.
Now, I think there's a difference between an unhealthy addiction.
And rechanneling.
Yes, and rechanneling.
Yeah. I agree.
So I do go from time to time. I do work myself too hard, and
you wake up in the morning and you immediately think, I need to do something.
yes,
You never just allow yourself to like surf your urges and just kind of like, just.
I have to force myself to take a day off.
Yeah.
So like I'll be on the road, for example, going to Texas. We'll drive 10 hours to Texas, play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I'll drive home all day Sunday, and I'll get home Sunday and be pissed off because I didn't do anything on Sunday. I'll be pissed off because I was in the car all day.
Because
I'll be like, I accomplished nothing today.
But you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, but also it's just like that. I don't have any time to recharge, so I get pissed off because like I lose a whole day traveling. So I feel like I can't take off Monday.
Yeah.
To recharge because I know I need to be healthy and so I don't fall apart.
The thing is like fundamentally, if what we're doing in life isn't making us healthy and happy and strong, then it's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, I'm
not saying there's like a quick fix. I'm just saying like there has to be like a balance, and for everybody, like this is normal. I want to say that addiction is completely normal under the given circumstances.
Oh yeah, well,
that's kind of what I'm saying. Addiction is completely normal. There's nothing wrong with you. You just need to investigate a little bit. You know what I mean?
Evaluate why.
Yeah,
you have this drive.
Ask deeper questions. You know.
And again, we encourage everyone. That's one of the many goals of this podcast is to get you to ask questions. And don't be afraid to ask yourself these questions. And if you see somebody, and again, we touched on this very briefly, but if you see somebody that that you perceive as having a problem, now don't project your problems onto somebody else because I've also done that. But if you perceive, it's okay to approach your friend, significant other, your family member, and say, "Hey, look, I'm getting a little concerned here. Maybe you need to slow down. Maybe you need to think about this." It's okay to do that. But also, if you're on the receiving end of that, try to be open to it.
Yeah.
Because again, you may be blinded by your addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I've had.
It's a reflex, man.
Yeah,
it's a reflex that can be broken. It absolutely 100% can be broken, but it's an inside out fix. Mm-hmm. It's not we've already established that you can't find the capacity to make you happy or content, which is the opposite of addiction.
Yeah,
you can't find that. It's not going to come in from anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be pointers from people, other people who could help, that don't have the struggle as much. I mean, but everybody could examine their life and see a little bit of addiction there.
Yeah.
But it's not going to come in from anywhere.
Yeah.
There has to be a systematic change and a different kind of looking, into the self.
Yes.
Which is the hardest knowledge to get.
Oh, absolutely.
But I would argue that it's the most essential knowledge because that's the only battle, in my opinion, that's ever been fought. Mm-hmm. Is this battle with the self and with the psychological mind and the sort of chatter that goes on, the constant chatter, and there being no peace. Mm-hmm. That's like the real battle, I mean, I know we may have like wars and things like that, and people are doing things that they obviously know they don't want to be doing because fundamentally want the same thing.
Yes.
And if we can go on that premise, then we can say that people need more self-knowledge and understanding the inner power that we all possess, not over other people, but power over
ourselves,
over our circumstances and ourselves and our transcendental nature that we can tap into.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And it's being an addict.
First of all, we have to stop identifying with being an addict. Because then we can't hold the addiction
Well,
to break the reflex.
I liked, again, I did Alcoholics Anonymous for all of 2 sessions. I got my first chip and then I went to the second one. And like, I think I mentioned this in the introduction series, so I don't have to go too involved in it. But again, they have the 12-step program, which I don't even remember all 12 of them anymore.
Did you go through that?
I went through it mentally, and then
Like, did you like? Okay.
But first step is admitting you have a problem. I don't identify, like, my whole being is not encompassed by saying I'm an addict.
Yeah.
That is me opening up and saying I'm an addict. I acknowledge that I know I'm an addict, and I have a penchant to overdo it.
Yeah, you're aware of it.
Yes.
Yeah, which means you are not it.
But that is me. If I acknowledge it and I know it, that means I know a little bit more about myself.
And
and it gives me a greater control on how I respond to my impulse to, say, take a shot, grab a beer, or
and there's a space that's created around it.
Yes.
So you can actually feel when it comes up, and you can be there when it comes up.
Yes.
And you're like, ah.
Yep. We're gonna
And you cut that. You cut that motherfucker.
Put that back in the box.
Yeah, you cut him.
Put it back in the box.
Yep.
And I'm getting a little bit better about applying that mentality to, again, my current addiction, which is workaholism.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to work myself into an early grave. I don't want to work myself into like an early hip replacement. Yeah. Because I'm jumping around like a jackass on stage for 3.5 hours at 37 years old. I mean, granted, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life, but at the same time, it's like, well, our bodies, as amazing as they are, as repair machinery, at some point, your body is basically just like a vehicle. It's going to break down, and while some sci-fi features might be cool, like being the Bionic Man might be awesome, do you really want to have a hip replacement at 45?
Yeah. Well, you said something interesting there. I don't want to let go to waste, which is the mechanical. I don't know if you meant it that way, as if body being mechanical.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting. We should talk about that in an episode.
Oh, the physical body?
If the physical body is merely mechanical and can actually be understood,
robot,
or I mean, is it mechanical? Like, where does the nature stop between us and the natural world? Where do our bodies stop between us and the natural world?
I'm going to say when more than 50% of your body is artificial.
There's an easy answer. There's an easy answer. But
logic does not compute. Human.
Yeah, we haven't quite figured that one out yet.
Well, again, that's going back to some future conspiracy talks. I mean, is this just a simulation? Is the program? Am I just programmed to slow? Are we programmed to slowly break down?
I'll say something. This is a simulation, and if you're watching this podcast, you can be watching it for 2 different reasons, or probably a myriad of different reasons. But your consciousness might be trying to escape something that you don't want to deal with, so you listen to us instead of dealing with that thing. So it can be a good thing and a bad thing to watch a movie, or because it takes you away from the movie of your life, or listen to a podcast. It's all information, and it depends on how it's being heard.
It's all about how open you are to hearing and receiving new information, and how you're disseminating that information.
Right. Quick tip: if you're watching or listening, try one thing. Try to become aware of yourself listening or watching what you're watching. Not just what you're watching, but be aware of yourself. Look, not just what you're looking at, but aware of yourself looking at what you're looking at.
When you were in high school,
it gives you perception, gives you distance.
No, I'm riffing on that because I like that. When you were in high school, Did you do in your English class? Did you have your whole reading and comprehension sections?
Yes. How well
I feel like a lot that has suffered a lot, especially again in my generation.
just comprehension.
Yeah, comprehension. So you can read something, but you're not actually taking in the knowledge. You're just like reading to read, or you're skimming.
Yeah.
You're skimming. You're not actually gaining full knowledge of whatever you're taking in. I think a lot of that is also happening with podcasts and video podcasts and TV shows, is that we just maybe, and again,
I know that to be true from my own personal perspective, because I could be
I just want to zone out.
Yeah, well, depending on the state of consciousness that I'm in depends on how well I hear or understand. When I say hear, you know what I mean? I mean to really take it in.
Yeah.
How, like, if all the chatter is winning my attention, which is, we've already established, is the most powerful thing. If it's going to win, then I'm not going to hear at all.
Yeah.
I'm just going to, it's like zombification, which, I feel like the speed of life has done that better than anything to probably contribute to the comprehension problem. Is the just load of shit that just comes.
Well, it's the overall competition for our attention.
Yeah, and it's so abundant. It's like you don't if you're not aware of yourself looking at whatever you're looking at, then you immediately log into everything and you're completely overwhelmed, which is why casinos and arcades and Facebook, like all this it's like it's all a play of distraction. Yeah. It's all a play of distraction.
Do you think that's why there's been a rise in addiction?
Possibly, because it's overwhelming.
Is it because we're overwhelmed with information and you just need to...
You're so confused, you don't know what to do.
You're unplugging your mind by, again, alcohol, weed, whatever. But I'm talking any substance.
You take a hit and then it's like comfort, or whatever. And that's the thing. It's like it's an escape from what's really going on. In some form or fashion. I'm not saying that I'm not saying you have no vices, because if you don't have vices, those people are like not even tolerable.
Well,
from sometimes.
I completely agree. I think most anything. Now, obviously there are some big going, you don't do this ever. You don't, but we're not going to talk about that, but moderation in any of those, let's go with substances. Moderation is key to maintaining your control over a quote unquote becoming an addict.
Yeah. Well,
when I say addict, I mean somebody that's so dependent on that disconnect that you get from whatever substance you're imbibing in. Mm-hmm. If you're so hell-bent on spending most of your time in that realm, then you're no longer like, why even exist on this plane of existence anymore? If you're
which leads to suicide, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Like I just mentioned, it's all like a distraction. So if you can realize that you be in the conscious presence, you're there before the urge to do it, during it, and after it. So watch it. Yeah. The whole fucking thing. If you want to do it, if you feel like you need to do it, but watch it. Watch the urge, do it, watch yourself doing it, and then you're still there afterwards. Ooh. Nothing happened to your consciousness.
The buddy system also, if you're comfortable enough with somebody.
Yeah. Accountability.
Yes.
Is good.
Well, having somebody else somebody that you trust and somebody you respect that can actually go, okay, look, hey man, you did that yesterday. You maybe don't do it every day. Because again, it is a slippery slope when you start getting that pleasure addiction or that numbness. And again, this is speaking from my own personal experience. There's a reason that I don't drink at all anymore. And it's because I like, regardless of who's talking to me or who's coaching me. I mean, I love my wife more than anybody on the planet. Aside, I love myself maybe equally. I might love her a little bit more than me, but even her, like, she couldn't talk me out of, once I started drinking, to stop. Mm-hmm. Until like the next day, and it was just like, hey, you were kind of an asshole last time.
Yeah, you had to recognize that.
I had a problem. Yeah. It's not, and that's why I don't drink at all anymore. And it's not because it's because I can't do it in moderation.
Right.
I can't be I couldn't go out and hang out with you guys at a bar and have a drink socially. Like, I can go out and hang out with you and not be uncomfortable and not be tempted. Mm-hmm. Because I know that's an aspect of my life that I no longer need.
Yeah, and that's great, and because you know what it is. Mm. You know what it is. No.
But that's why I'm saying, like, having somebody there that you trust and love, and that loves you and is looking out for your best interest, going, hey, look, by all means, expand your mind, expand your consciousness, but maybe, again, don't do it so often that you're disconnected from the rest of us, your friends, your family, your relationships. We all love you. We all care about you. And if you're always in this altered state of mind, how are you going to get away from the problem that led you to start taking the substances that you felt you needed to alter your state of mind? Mm-hmm. So
you're saying alternate with substance?
Yes, you're change. Like, if you're going to change, you're altering your state of mind to get away from whatever you're feeling. Mm-hmm. That's again the primary reason for substances. Yeah. Like and again, I'm talking whether it's weed, coke. Again, you name whatever substance.
Yeah.
Again, there are pros and cons to both. And again, I'm going to emphasize this: moderation is definitely, but if you can't self-moderate, have somebody there that you can trust to go, yeah, man, maybe you don't need that last shot, or maybe you don't need that second hit, or third hit. You don't need to smoke the whole bowl, or you don't need to smoke the second bowl. Don't eat that third edible. Dude, there's no pink elephant dancing around the room. Calm down. Calm down.
Yeah. I think that's good. I think that's good for probably like a moment-to-moment fix, like a fix to the problem. Yeah. But as far as as seeing long-term, it has to be a situation where there's enough distance between you and that thing, mm-hmm. and to where you can actually see it and hold it to see, what it is and what it's doing for you, and you will know what it's doing for you when you take it out.
Yeah.
Because you'll see what comes up, And that's the thing. It's not really conceptual, or it's not really words. It's what's going to come up when you don't do that thing.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
What are those thoughts and emotions that are evoked from that lack of the curtain?
Mm-hmm. And there's I was saying that it does start from childhood, because it absolutely starts when I have this thing about, I don't have this thing. This is just a thing I'm talking about. Yeah. When we're born, we're born and we're given a name, and that's the first knowing. I am. And we do things.
Hail Jackson Hubbard, the first of his name.
We do things spontaneously. And the adults who are further along in their knowing and conditioning, they know when we do a said thing and it's spontaneous. It just is, that it's good or bad. And it's, we're always told, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good. And there's just a lot of inner trauma that can be stored from those things, starting in childhood.
And a lot of it
school.
A lot of it is probably repressed. There's a lot of negative things that we've all experienced that we probably don't actively recall or can't even remember, because it's either too painful, or we were too young to consciously acknowledge it at the time that it was something awful.
Right. And like not considering the totality of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not considering that, I don't know, that maybe what happened outside wasn't how we experienced it inside.
Yeah.
Which is also a huge thing. You know. But yeah, there's some really good things to look at on that from a guy named Gabor Mate. He's a
There's a joke in there somewhere, but you're being serious, so I'm not going to let.
what is it?
As you said, Gabor?
Gabor.
Gahor? I'm sorry. Look up this.
No. I don't care.
Again, we aren't here to offend anybody. I'm sorry if the gay whore may have offended somebody.
It is whatever,
again,
but he's a good he's a trauma expert.
Okay,
so he's like an expert on, you know, like he has
dealing with emotional trauma.
I'll say this: he has good, because I'm cautious when I say somebody is an expert about this, because then that magnifies the greatness of the other person, and it takes power away from you, because you all of a sudden, I couldn't possibly understand my own trauma because someone else does. Yeah. I'll say Gabor has good pointings that only point to what you already know somehow.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. So, which I think those are good.
Yeah,
people that will point to things that you already somehow know. Without that's kind of the beauty of it.
So Gabor,
Gabor.
Okay.
Mate. So it's spelled like Gabor Mate.
Okay, Gabor Mate.
Gabor.
Okay. Well, this guy.
That's just his name. That was.
No. But he's. So he's more of a guide.
Yeah.
Okay,
you'd have to.
I know. I'm trying to make the connection with what you said. So he's not, because again, labels. We talked about labels pretty often, but labels give authority maybe where they shouldn't be put. But he acts as a guide.
Yeah.
To guide through
trauma, understanding it,
and emotional trauma. Or mental trauma.
Yeah, not physical.
Obviously.
Yeah. It's it's inner trauma.
Okay.
Because that's the whole thing. There is an outer happening, and then there's an inner response.
Yes.
So it doesn't always match up.
Yeah.
I
agree.
So
I remember smiling while feeling like, well, I think everybody can relate to that.
Well, and it's normal.
Yeah.
It's completely normal. So it's not like we're at fault somehow. If you never knew that, then how are you going to know that? You know,
it's okay to feel like,
yeah,
it's okay. I would
allow
encourage
yourself
you
to feel like.
I would encourage everyone just not dwell on it. Feel it, be completely present, and embrace it. Evaluate why you feel that way, and then figure out what triggered that feeling and response, and then lop it off.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
If you need to use something to try to get you past that, there's nothing wrong with, again, moderation. But if you use that as a crutch for too long, then you'll never walk again.
Yeah.
I think that's the best analogy I can use for substance. Again, substance abuse. Substance moderation, again, could potentially be, and I'm not saying it is, to clarify, it can potentially be a good crutch to get you back on your feet and walking. But do not rely on that for your feel-good motions.
Yeah, I would say that we're at a complete mental health crisis.
Yes.
I would say that would be fair for anybody to say that we're all at a collective mental health crisis.
Oh, the whole, has the whole world gone crazy?
Yeah.
Does nobody here care about the rules?
Yeah. Well, the rules, but I think that I'm really happy to see, like, in my lifetime, there be a lot more talk around mental health.
Yes.
A lot. And I concur. Yeah. That's super cool. Because I couldn't imagine, having beliefs and believing was one way and then never getting told it was any other way and you're just wrong.
Oh yeah.
I mean, think about slaves and slaves and think about slaves. You know, I mean, of any race.
Yeah.
You know,
well, slavery is still going on all over the world. It's just not really publicized.
I know. It's
and again, you can categorize like I'm going to say 80% of the workforce in China are basically indentured servitude.
Yeah.
Indentured servitude to the government. I mean, almost every job, every corporation is owned by the government in China.
Completely ridiculous.
I mean, again, and if you don't, you're assigned a job. Yeah. So, again, it is...
Again, my problem with nations.
Well...
And corporations.
Mentality.
And industrializing.
It's the tragedy that is human nature is that we want control.
And it's impossible.
Well, it's not impossible if you're depending on, like, if you take away.
Well, when you play God and you make it possible, there's
you take away. If you remove your inhibitions and your lack of empathy, and you can actually view somebody else as less than human, then it doesn't matter what you do to them.
Yeah.
So, and again, there's your slavery. You know, slavery in traditional context in the States, the United States, you know, they were treated as subhuman.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have gotten, the majority of America has gotten past that. We don't think in these terms where somebody is less than another person. But this isn't the case for other places.
Yeah.
You know, there are religious sects that have the same mentality. Like if you are, you know, again, there are different sects of the Muslim faith. Not all Muslims, because we remember broad strokes. We don't use broad strokes.
Yeah. Well, you have to think, you know, I would agree with you on the slavery front, but on the front of thinking people are less than has everything to do with class.
Yes.
That still happens.
Yes.
You know.
Oh, in India, that's like their entire society is based on class.
Mm-hmm.
They have different castes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even here, I'm saying somehow Jeff Bezos isn't me.
Mm. Or he could be. We just need the next.
No, he is. He already is.
Idea. Brain snacks is already here.
He already is. I'm not saying I'm not denying his accomplishments, but to say that he's something different.
Yeah. No,
he's not. Celebrities, they're not something different.
And it doesn't mean that their opinions matter any more or less than ours.
Right.
That is a very good point.
Yeah.
But a lot of people seem to forget this. And just because your beliefs differ from mine doesn't mean that you're better than me.
No.
Doesn't mean that I'm better than you.
No.
And I want to bring this up. Just because you have a certain belief or a certain ideology doesn't mean that you have to be married to that. You can change your beliefs. You can change your ideology. It won't necessarily change you as a person, as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
You are not your beliefs. You are not your ideology. And if you're married to those, and I think Andrew may have seen this. I did this in my first episode. I didn't like it because I was using this microphone in a hotel room and it's...
Okay, so you did. All right.
But this was the point that I made in that episode. You don't have to be married to your beliefs. And if you are married to your beliefs, well, congratulations if you live in the United States where the divorce rate is over 51%.
Right.
Divorce that shit. If those beliefs are a hindrance for you and your own personal growth, divorce them. You don't need them. And I think that, as far as mental health goes and trying to cover up some of your feelings and emotions with the substances, if you can get away from some of the beliefs that are making you so miserable,
yes,
that'll go a long way.
If you can realize that
towards helping you be a more content. Again, no, you can be content but not be happy. You can be content and not be depressed. You can be content, and conversely, you can be content and happy.
It's beyond being happy or unhappy.
Yes, but being satisfied with where you're at.
Acceptance.
You talk about this.
You always have to start from here.
You
always have to start from here. And
you say this all the time, and this is one of the greatest thing. I'm glad you reinforce this so often, and I don't say it often enough, and I honestly probably don't think about it enough. And this is one of the reasons why I said I love that you're doing this podcast with me, because as much as you say that, you look up to me in certain regards, the one thing you say constantly that sticks with me, and you say it almost every episode, is be present.
Yeah.
Present. I forget to do that a lot of the time. And
everybody does, man.
Shows like this.
I've done it like 50 times sitting here talking to you. Mm-hmm. Full disclosure. I mean, that's
where you been, man?
That's what happens.
Jaxon, just go.
That's what happens.
But no, that's one thing that I take away.
But it's a reflex.
And again, I missed you. I missed you, Dustin. I missed you, Andrew. I missed you guys. I've seen all of you outside of the show since then, but also just I missed this. Having this conversation, because like I said, I know we've had a couple of responses from people that have seen the show, and it's been all, again, I'm hoping that we start getting a little bit more constructive criticism, because it's all been like,
it's all just like, you're so good. Yeah.
Look, there's going to be something you don't like, and just tell us, just please. We want to make the show as good as possible.
Right.
But as much as people are getting positive messages out of this, like I think I'm getting almost as much, if not more so than the people that hopefully we're aiming to help.
Yep.
And again, fucking so glad we're back at it. And I hope my schedule allows, and everybody's schedule allows us to get together,
more
before
often.
Another 6 month fucking hiatus. God damn it.
Let's definitely do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as substance use, again, moderation, and as far as legality goes, you roll the dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a narc. I'm not gonna narc on you.
Hell no.
But try to be as responsible as you can. And if you can't, if you don't feel like you can be responsible, seek help.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. A lot of people that get into hardcore addiction, they're afraid to ask for help, or they've asked for help in a way that wasn't received. There are numerous hotlines you can call if you feel you can't talk to somebody in your life. But I guarantee you there's somebody out there that you can talk to.
For sure.
There's always somebody. So by all means, again.
And getting into one more thing.
Yeah.
Before we wrap it up.
Bring it in. Bring it in for the real thing.
The thing about being legal, you said something about being legal. It's sort of, the issue sort of transcends legality, because your thoughts aren't really policed, and your mind state isn't policed by anybody but you. So there's a systematic problem with criminalizing drugs.
I agree. And again, I want to do a little research on it.
Yeah.
But we can do a whole podcast.
Well, it makes a hell of a lot of money.
Yes. But we can do a whole podcast on prohibition.
Mm-hmm.
And the war on drugs being modern day prohibition.
Yep.
That's just taking a lot longer to stem the tide of.
Right.
Because, I mean, marijuana is finally medically legal in most of the country.
It grows from the ground.
It's not processed, and therefore they haven't figured out a way to fine tune the taxing on it yet.
Of course.
So, but hey, the tax revenue in Colorado and California is supposed to be like ridiculously high, and they've been doing some great things for the not just for addiction centers, but also for like schools, local schools, and all that. So, look, there are pluses and minuses in everything in life, man. So, maybe it's time to reevaluate some of this.
Yeah, I think it's like I'm becoming more aware of the non-duality and everything. How it's not good or bad. It's not this or that. It's not. It couldn't be.
Gray areas.
Because
it's not black and white.
what we see, I'm going to throw some wisdom at you. What we see and perceive all the time is it's moving. It's like traffic. And so it's easy to get distracted without trying to be distracted. So that's the thing, like getting too involved in the movie of what you call my life.
Yeah.
What we call our lives, which isn't really our life isn't that important.
I think your life is important.
My life, the concept my life isn't important. There's life with a little L and there's life with a capital L.
Okay.
And there's bigger life than me. Is what I'm saying. So
feed me.
What do you want?
I'm waiting. No, because I think all life is precious.
It is.
Your life is precious. You are precious.
It is. I'm saying
precious.
Mentally
precious. Just saying. But no,
mentally, you have to go.
I'm trying to make the connection with
mentally.
With
you have to try to go beyond the my life and this is always happening to me and I can't do anything and why is my life is so or my life is this it's judging your own life. You know what I mean?
Being too self-absorbed and
egotistical.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Egocentric. Everything's happening to me and I like have to do something about it all the time. And why? Why me?
Victimhood mentality. That's what that sounded like.
Dude, I've had it. Self-pity, big time. I struggle with self-pity so hard.
Again, every human being on the planet deals with that.
Yeah.
On some level.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I've come to realize that it's not me. It's other than me.
You were blocking the mic. Sorry.
It's not me.
There we go. Yay!
It's not me.
No, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to lose that soundbite.
Yeah, no, you're good. That's all I had to say.
Okay. Well, again, I keep going back to the Stuck in Life series because again, at the time of this recording, we are about to release. Actually, now, yeah, it's released. The final episode of the Stuck in Life series was literally just released 30 minutes ago.
Sweet. So,
yeah, I should have made a post about that. Sorry, Facebook world, whatever, social medias. But subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, you'll know about it.
But yeah, everybody has to deal with that, those thoughts and feelings.
Yeah,
and the self-doubt, and it's hard to get past that victimhood mentality sometimes. But like I said, holding yourself,
create space for it.
Yeah,
let it be there.
Yeah,
don't fight it.
Own it.
Just be aware of it.
But yeah,
be aware of it.
But own it, and then start to ask questions why you think that way. Again, this is the mental exercise of asking why you think the way you think. Constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly. So, why me? Why me? Is like, well, why not me?
Yeah.
What makes me so much better than, why should this happen to me and not somebody else?
Yes.
Now, sure. Is it my response? Is it my fault that this happened because I failed to do X, Y, Z?
But then but you don't go there and dwell on it.
No. You don't go there and dwell on it. But you don't make excuses for it.
You just
is what I'm saying. And that's the mental exercise that, again, I still battle with. I talked about, dropping the negativity and the dropping the jealousy. And blaming other people for things that are within my control. And again, that's the mental exercise, is going, well, why me? Well, maybe it's because I didn't push myself a little bit harder. I could have done it. I know I've had the potential to do it. Why didn't I do it? Well, it's because I didn't put enough effort in on whatever that is. Or I didn't remove myself from the situation. I knew, like, my instincts told me this was bad.
Yeah.
I knew it. Why didn't I get out?
Right.
And then boom. So again, mental mental toughness, mental exercises.
Good stuff.
So, yeah, I'm glad that you brought up substances, man.
Yeah.
I think this was a fun little episode. This may have been a little bit more serious than most of our other ones, but hey,
Yeah, it was
that's
good,
okay.
though. Yeah, that's every now and then we need a serious one.
Okay. So we're going to shut this one down?
Yep.
Patty cake, patty cake. Yeah! Cut it.
Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Yeah.
Did you subscribe?